coming so close, only to fall at the final hurdle. The smoke from the pre-game pyrotechnics is drifting across this tight but raucous stadium. The players are ready, huddled in the tunnel, focused, and you can feel the goosebumps on your arms around us as they walk that iconic trophy out onto the pitch in front of us. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, you will not want to stop listening for a single second this evening. Good evening and a remarkably warm welcome to our live uninterrupted coverage of the 2026 CONCACAF Champions Cup final. My name is Charlie McGuinness, and from our vantage point high above the pitch at the intimidating Estadio Nemesio Diaz in Toluca, Mexico, where the atmosphere has comfortably blown past the boiling point, I'll be your commentator tonight. And whether you're tuning in on the road, listening at home, or hiding out with your headphones somewhere, we are absolutely thrilled to have you with us for a night that promises to be an instant classic in the history of this competition. Tonight the continent belongs to Liga MX, two domestic heavyweights who know each other's habits, flaws and dark arts inside out, ready to put it all on the line for 90 minutes of pure unadulterated high-stakes drama. The trophy sits pitch-side, gleaming under the late evening sun, just waiting for one of the two captains to hoist it into the night sky. We'll be guiding you through the tactical narratives, break down the official team selections and take you right down up to kickoff as we prepare for the opening whistle. Well, let's talk about the sheer weight of history pressing down on these two clubs tonight. This marks the 10th time since the tournament's modern restructure in 2008 that two Mexican sides are contesting the Gran Finale, breaking a 5-year run of mixed nation showpieces. The last time we saw a single nation domestic battle like this was back in 2021 when Monterrey edged Club America. For the hosts, Toluca, the quest for a third continental crown has become a bit of an obsession. They've technically won this tournament twice before, but here's the catch. They've only actually hoisted the trophy on the pitch in a contested final series once in their entire existence. That back in 2003, when they squeezed past Monarcas Morelia. Their inaugural 1968 triumph was handed to them via a walkover. Decades later, they finally have the chance to win it properly. Right here on their own grass, feeding off a 3-match home winning streak in this year's tournament. Yet a psychological ghost haunts the Nemesio Diaz. Since 2008, Toluca has never managed to beat a fellow Liga MX club on home turf in this competition. Tigres, meanwhile, arrive fighting historical travel demons of their own. They are desperate for just their second away victory against domestic opposition in the Champions Cup in nearly 20 years. Their only other success coming in a 3-0 demolition of Pumas back in 2017. But what Tigres lack in comfort on the road, they make up for in major final pedigree and dead ball mastery. They don't need to dominate open play because they convert corner kicks into pure chaos, scoring 4 goals from corner routines this season, averaging 1 every 11 corners they generate. And keep an eye on the technical bench as well. Tigres manager Guido Pizarro is chasing a legendary player-coach double tonight, looking to join an elite circle that includes the iconic Tuca Ferretti. Crucially, neither of these teams really knows how to mount a comeback. This season, when scoring first, Tigres is a perfect 5 from 5, and Toluca has dropped points just once. But if they concede first, both of them carry a brutal 100% defeat rate, failing to collect a single point from a losing position. The opening blow tonight won't just dictate the tactical shape, it might outright decide the champion. And the pre-match festivities continue. out on the playing surface. A dance routine performed by a troupe of dancers in orange and a troupe in red and black, headed by two separate luchador masked lead performers of their own, flanked by flames, lit up by fire in this cauldron. This oven of baking heat, which provides its own challenge. Thousands of metres above sea level. Teams that come here who aren't accustomed to the conditions often struggle. Tigres know it. They know it from domestic action. But knowing something doesn't make it easier to deal with. Toluca on home soil, backed by their passionate supporters. And there is just a small contingent of travelling Tigres fans. They made their march to the stadium earlier on this afternoon. And that little pocket of yellow and blue away in the corner have been backing their side vociferously from the point they made their way into the ground. Speaking of making your way into the ground, here come the two teams heading out onto the pitch into a explosion of colour and noise. Both of these two sets of players desperately want this trophy. They will stroll past that famous CONCACAF Champions Cup on their way onto the pitch. The tifos are being displayed by the two sets of supporters. Toluca, of course, with two dominant pictures. The flames, the fog, the smoke pouring out from around this ground. A big moment as well for all the officials. We are not too far away from kick-off now. Well, Toluca started their campaign back in December. 3-2 winners away at San Diego, and then they reinforced that dominant position with a 4-0 win back here. Then they brushed aside LA Galaxy. A little bit more difficult 4-2 defeat away in Los Angeles before a 3-0 win back at home. Next came LAFC. A 2-1 win on their travels was followed up by a 4-0 win back here. That was the semi-final. This, though, the big game. A statement result last time out. Goals from Helinho, Lopez, and two from Paulinho, tournament's top scorer, booked their place in the final and ensured they'd be competing on home soil. Tigres have played two more games, started with that two-legged opener against Forge of Canada, then Cincinnati, Seattle Sounders and Nashville as well, before finally they face their fellow Mexican side Toluca this evening. Well, we could bring you the starting lineup. We'll start with Deportivo Toluca. Luis Garcia gets the nod between the sticks. He's heavily shielded by a back line that we believe will operate as a 5. Helinho on the left-hand side, Santiago on the right, Lopez, Pereira, Mendes, the three centre-backs. Angelo, Rivero and the captain Ruiz offer support to Paulinho, the tournament's apex predator, who sits on 8 goals and is hunting a historic double-digit milestone. For Tigres, the legendary yet uncharacteristically vulnerable in this tournament, Nahuel Guzman starts in goal. He's looking to bounce back from a shaky campaign. It's a back four of Jesus Garza on the right-hand side. And Vladimir Loroña looking to provide the width and defensive grit in the fullback positions, with Joaquim and Romulo, the two centre-backs. Araujo joins Correa in the heart of midfield. Herrera and Lainez, the two wingers. Correa sitting just behind the efficient Rodrigo Aguirre. Referee tonight, Ismail Elfat, assisted by Corey Parker and Kyle Atkins, the fourth official, O'Shane Nation. And perusing all the screens, the video assistant referee, Alan Chapman, with his assistant, Chris Penso. Well, the pre-game handshakes are finished. The captains meeting the officials at the centre circle for the coin toss. The atmosphere inside this ground has reached a deafening crescendo. We are at fever pitch. The tactical blueprints are drawn. The individual rivalries are set. And that margin for error has completely vanished. 90 minutes of pure footballing drama await. Both goalkeepers head towards their respective 18-yard boxes. Guzman will bring his curtain down on his Tigres career this evening. Can he do it with a win? Dressed all in pink tonight. Garcia to our right, all in green. The referee looks at his watch. The keepers exchange a final nod of readiness. The ball is on the centre spot. The waiting is officially over. Take a deep breath with me. The whistle goes, and we are underway for the 2026 CONCACAF Champions Cup final. And it's Tigres kicking us off, playing all in yellow with blue accents this evening. The travelling team look to try and keep the ball in the opening exchanges here. Neither of these two teams have played in 3 weeks. How rusty are they really? That's the main question so far. Will be first on the agenda, assessing their match fitness. All in the middle of the park. An early free kick for Tigres, just to the left of the centre circle. Antonio Mohamed, quite a character, the Toluca manager. He's a 5-time winner of the league with them. Gone backwards with the free kick, Tigres. Here's Guzman. And now Joaquim. Antonio Mohamed has spoken openly about the fact that this is the one thing missing from his glittering career. Auto El Buffalo Aguirre to try and find some space down that left-hand side, but the ball is out of play. It's going to come in from the right-hand side from Simon. It's down the touchline. A bit of wrestling over on that left flank. And it will be penalised by the referee. Paulinho just trying to make the point to the ref that that was the second foul from Joaquim on him. Interesting night for Guido Pizarro. Installed as a boss just over a year ago now. Still not necessarily comfortable in his position. Winning this tournament would go a long way to settling his future. Into the penalty area, won the initial header to Luca. It was Ruiz who was moving away from goal. I think there was a deflection on the way through from the League-Toluca captain. Going through injury tonight, Ruiz, with a partially torn ACL. I'd hoped to be part of Mexico's squad for the FIFA World Cup, but wasn't selected. They're coming together on the far side. This time Aguirre goes down. Tigres win it back nicely. Here comes Correa. Runners in front of him, still going Correa. Aguirre to his left. Will use him on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Lofted towards the back post, just a bit too much on that cross. But the idea appointed by Lainez. Romulo has the ball in his hands for Toluca. Into Correa. Forward by Romulo. Long switch out to Helinho. No Alexis Vega for Toluca tonight. Helinho will have to take up a lot of that slack. He's one of their chief creators in attacking areas. It's Pereira. Helinho. Mendes. Garcia keeps it moving. Ball over the top, and Guzman will come to meet it just outside this penalty area. Lashes that deep into Toluca territory. Aguirre is going to take it down here. On the edge of the centre circle, he's the kind of player that can keep that ball and find teammates. That's what he's done there to win the free kick for the challenge on Herrera. Guzman was under pressure. Helinho will try his luck from range. He was on target. A poor clearance from Nahuel Guzman. It was straight to Helinho, who wasted no time getting the ball out of his feet and trying to lift it over the pink-clad Tigres goalkeeper. Spun down the right-hand side. Sprinting across. And Pereira smashed out a play by way of a deflection, and Toluca back in possession. And there's a foul and a free kick for Tigres. It's Jesus Angulo, just a little bit overzealous and trying to get to that ball. Rather confusingly, there is also a Jesus Angulo on the bench for Tigres tonight. Jesus Angulo of Toluca, when he was younger, was referred to as Canelo. He had red curly hair and was compared to the boxer Canelo Alvarez, so if we do have both of them on the pitch, we'll start to refer to Toluca's Angulo as Canelo. For now, Jesus Angulo, which is on as Ruiz is pumped into by Correa. Simon with the, well, looks like he'll be taking the set piece. Helinho also showing his interest. He's going to step away from it. Santi Simon towards the left-hand side of the penalty area. It's close to Pereira, but not close enough. Gonna play for a goal kick. The neutral venue here tonight. It's an interesting quirk of this tournament. The side that finishes first in the rankings across all the CONCACAF Champions Cup competitors not only earn a place in the final, but earn the right to host it at their own ground. Romulo, Joaquim, two Brazilians, two centre-backs tonight for Tigres. Is Guzman. To the left-hand side, the header went straight up in the air, but Correa is going to take it down with a lovely, classy first touch. Target for River Plate, according to some reports. The ball on the pitch, which is swiftly dealt with by the assistant referee on that far side. And they've thrown the ball away. Tigres, it's now with Mendes. A bit of ring rust apparent in both of these starting lineups already. And there's another indicator that they're not really up to match speed. The ball forward from Mendes, straight out of play for another Tigres goal kick. Joaquim, straight down the middle. Buffalo, that's a slice touch from Romero. That's out of play for the first corner. We alluded to it in our build-up, but Tigres have been pretty threatening from corners. Four goals from these kind of positions across the tournament this year. Liners with delivery, the outswinger deep towards the back post. We gave them a big build-up. The delivery wasn't what was required there, but they'll keep it in play, Tigres, on this near side. Gardazello with another 14 on his back. Riadan, the captain, turns for home. Here's Nahuel Guzman, 10 yards outside his penalty area. But on the right-hand side, a poor one. This time they'll be picking off in midfield, Toluca. And there's Paulinho, who's been penalised for the physical challenge. And the Tigres captain. It's just an arm outstretched there from Paulinho. Sure there was any malice intended for the Brazilian. Riadan limped off in the first 15 minutes of the semi-final second leg against Nashville, but he's been past fit to start this semi-final, this final. Romero. To Romulo. On the left-hand side, too high for Herrera. Castro ran into traffic. It's a move with purpose from the Argentine. Tigres pick it off. Struggling to keep the ball. The challenge is flying in. Fair, according to the referee. Castro's going to go rolling away from one of them. The referee will blow the whistle this time to give Toluca the free kick. He's just going to step in to try and calm them down, the referee here. Free kick going to be taken by Simon here. 10 or 15 yards into Tigres territory. All amassed on the edge of the Tigres penalty area. Santi Simon with the right-footed delivery. It'll flash into the edge of the penalty area. There was a flick on. There's Ricardo Lopez. Scored a wonderful goal for his first ever Toluca strike against LAFC. A absolute rocket. That one wide of the mark, a difficult one to turn on target. Goal kick taken short. And the referee's going to pull it back. It wasn't positioned in quite the right place for his liking. It's going to come straight back at Tigres. Romero clipped down the right hand side. Romero, it's off the heels of Gurriaran. It was Angulo causing some issues down that right flank. Settled for the throw in, but he was almost looking for the penalty there, and they did very well to make sure he didn't win it. That's into the near post, and a decent ball. And not a bad header as well from Nicolas Castro, who puts it wide of the mark in front of the near post. First chance of the game, 60 minutes in. Delivery came in from Simon. He had a free run at it there, Castro. Just got in front of his man. His position is outside that near post and struggles to turn it on target. Here he is again, this time on the left-hand side. It's Loroña. He's gone down holding his face. Castro takes it quickly. Here he is again. Romero. It's for Angulo. And then hammered out of play by Castro. Well, we said he's had a shaky tournament, Nahuel Guzman. A couple of those moments already as he's given the ball away from set pieces. Simon will go long from Joaquim. Won't reach Aguirre. There's Helinho. Just getting the better of the midfield at the moment, Toluca. Nodded on by Gurriaran. Just couldn't get the ball to move quick enough. And Correa won it back again, Toluca. Here's Helinho. Pereira for Toluca, left-hand side of the centre circle. shuffled across to Bruno Mendes. One of the two Uruguayans in the Toluca back line. Four Mexicans starting for Toluca, the goalkeeper Garcia, Lopez, Jesus Angulo and Ruiz as well. Intercontinental flavour here, lots of South American representation. Paulinho as well, the Toluca striker from Portugal. Correa takes it away from Ruiz, who tries to win it back. That's a loose ball in the direction of Lainez. Now out to this right hand side. Here is Lainez again. Not given any space, he can really produce magic when given the chance. Guzman just took a little too much time, invited a bit of pressure. Here is Lainez, goes to ground, not once but twice, sprung up after the first challenge, can't evade the second. And Aguirre is going to tuck back at Castro. A word from Aguirre to Nicolas Castro, as the referee blows the whistle to Toluca the free kick. That was impressive persistence from Lainez. Lopez was all over him when Castro came over to offer a helping hand. The referee's just come across to have a little word with Toluca manager Antonio Mohamed, just to tell him to calm down. He's going to do the same with Guido Pizarro. Temperature rising on the sidelines already after 20 minutes here in Toluca in the CONCACAF Champions Cup final. 20 minutes gone. This will be a fifth trophy in the last 12 months for Toluca. They've won 2 Liga MX titles, some domestic silverware as well. Pereira. To Castro. To the goalkeeper Garcia. Long ball up to the edge of the penalty area. Castro! Well saved by Guzman. Caught it cleanly there, Nicolas Castro. But it was a fairly straightforward save in the end for Nahuel Guzman. That's 2 decent chances now for Toluca in the last few minutes. And Tigres have just lost a bit of control of this game. They do have a free kick out on that far side. Started the game probably brighter than their opponents this evening, but since then Toluca really have grown into it and trying to stamp their authority on proceedings. Again, it's out of play from Guzman. His distribution has been really poor. Angulo, Paulinho, was he caught late? The Toluca fans think he was. Referee happy to allow them to play on. Ruiz, deep ball, Paulinho's there. It's a header over the top. But the warning signs are continuing from Toluca. Tigres need to heed them, otherwise they might go behind early here. Hasn't scored a header in the competition this season, Paulinho. Paulinho searching forward, released the ball and then ran straight into Joaquim. Here he is again, trying to wiggle his way through. Oh, it's Garza that gets it away. Right by Pereira to Garcia. He's going to match the man at the opposite end of the pitch and see that clearance sail out of play. Been with the club since 2016, only became the first choice goalkeeper last year. Garcia. Face each other in the League MX final. 2-2 on aggregate it finished, and then 12 rounds of penalties before Toluca won it. Celinho. There's Guzman on the edge of the penalty area. Seems to enjoy slowing play down whenever the ball comes his way. Rafael Guzman almost waiting for Palhinha to apply the cursory press. And I'll scoop it up and launch it down the right-hand side. That was always going to be a difficult one for Loroña. Thrown is into Palhinha, who sweeps on out towards the right-hand side. Helinho here. He was stepped on and the referee gives him the foul. Well, back to Garcia. Simon down the right-hand side, underneath it. There's Garza. Better results in a Toluca throw-in again. To Helinho. Immediately backwards. Pereira. Left-hand side now is Lopez. Pereira. Forward by Romero. Simon. Helinho. Steps infield into the space on the edge of the box. Across the face of the penalty area. Here's Castro, suddenly explodes. Down the left-hand side. The cutback blocked out. And the corner for Toluca. There's Romulo in the way. Corner kick for Toluca. Come wandering forward, the big men. Mendes, Pereira. The defenders in the penalty area. Short by Castro. Receives it again, now from the corner penalty area. Swings one towards the back post. Not too far away, not sure if it was intended as a shot, but it was only a foot and a half wide of Rafael Guzman's far post. Seemed to have a good idea of where that was going in the end, the Tigres goalkeeper. And towards the very isolated Aguirre. And here's Pereira. Ruiz. Helinho, right-hand side. Two in his way. Garza in the way. Quickly taken by Helinho. To Simon, back to Helinho. Now Mendes. Pereira. We showed a bit too much of it to Correa. And there's a foul. Free kick in the centre circle for Toluca. Lopez, Castro, Pereira, Mendes. Falls straight down the middle. Nacho Guzman controls initially with his chest before grabbing onto it and bowling it to Joaquim. It's Garza who looks long for Aguirre, who buys the free kick just inside the Toluca half of the pitch. Need more of those moments from the Buffalo. Just a hand on the shoulder from Mendes. Tigres on the attack. Once again, it's really good defending and the layoff from Angelo. Palinia. Castro on the left-hand side for Toluca. Left-footed ball all the way across to the other side of the penalty area. It's not close enough to Helinho. And it's a ball that'll sail over the touchline on the far side for another throw-in as the clock ticks over to 30 minutes. 15 remaining in this first half. Still no goals. But plenty of tension. Toluca the better side. Tigres rather hanging in there. Mendes. Here's Lopez. Now Romero. Back to Lopez. Pereira. Mendes. Garcia. Herrera from the edge of the box to Mendes on that right hand side, forward to Helinho, laid off now to Simon. Has a bit of time near halfway, tries to slip it through to Paulinho. It was read by Joaquim, who's able to drive forward. Finds Lainez right hand side. It's a rather scamper to the touchline to keep it in play, but he's done well. Loroña not given any space. Castro wins it back. Looks for the long diagonal. Guzman with the header from outside his penalty area. Deep into Toluca territory. Chested back there by Herrera. Correa. Araujo. Just outside the centre circle. Romulo. Guzman. Just outside his box. The last touch was off a Toluca player, so he will be able to pick it up before bowling that into the feet of Joaquim. Clip down the left-hand side, just too far away from Jesus Garza. Simon to Mendes, Mendes long. And straight to Nacho Guzman. Joaquim. Drop of the shoulder by Correa to turn into Toluca territory, but they've done really well to win it back, and that's exquisite skill from Helinho. They'll pivot and flick up in the air, but they've picked it off Tigres. And a shot from the long way out. It was Lainez with the effort. Backed off him. It was from 30 yards out. It was always skipping across the turf. Garcia was worried for a moment. Started to keep the ball a bit better now, Tigres. Gurriaran. Romulo. Joaquim. Lays it off for Guzman. Always over the top and bouncing all the way through. As they're coming together here, Lainez. And all tangled up with Pereira. The moment looked like he was about to put his hands on his neck, and eventually they'll just separate themselves and realise they're being silly little boys there for no reason. You could see the problem. Romero just step across Lainez's path. He dragged him to ground by the back of the neck, and as the two squared up, Lainez put his hands on his face. There was just a smile in return from Pereira. Well, mismatch. Pereira, much more of a heavyweight. So Lainez, you'd say, might be a bit of a bantamweight in those kind of scraps. And Angulo's onto it, but the flag is up. Romulo had to stretch. Was very tight as well. Just peeled round the back of Romulo. It's long from Nahuel Guzman from the free kick. To Correa. 36 dribbles and 17 successful take-ons in the tournament leading up to tonight. The tournament's preemptive dribbler. Here he is again. He snatched at that crossing opportunity, and Castro can win the goal kick. Off Lainez. It's been a game littered with those kind of moments. The build-up play hasn't been too bad from either side, but the first ball, the all-important moments, well, they've been lacking. Referee wants a throw-in taken from further back. Garza will take it into Gurriaran. Bit of head tennis between the pair. Gurriaran couldn't look up with Aguirre. Clearance came from Simon on the way through to Guzman. Now Romulo. Defensive position just outside the Tigres box. Gurriaran with a layoff, back to Guzman. Araujo, back to Guzman. Noronha trying to find Lainez. It's a throw in. Lopez to take it. Poked away by Noronha. It's Pereira. Mendes. Simon. Romero. Space for Mendes to wander forward. Heleno finds Simon. It's Mendes. Romero. Across the centre circle towards this left-hand side for Pereira. Now Lopez. And it's been turned over to Correa. Now Araujo. Down the outside is Correa. Takes his time. Araujo scuffed his effort. It's back to Correa. Edge of the penalty area. Gurriaran. Lainez. Clips one in there, and it's nodded away by Mendes. And on the follow-up. Not a bad effort from Ruiz. And Garza rather spelled initially by Garcia. They managed to gather it back again, and now Toluca try to take advantage of the stretch play. Helinho pivoting past one, pirouetting past another, being dispossessed by Joaquim. It's going to be a corner, but Joaquim enjoyed that. So did Helinho. Game just exploded into life. Tigres with a couple of half chances there in quick succession before Toluca went down the other end and started to cause some concerns. Set piece here for Toluca. Castro has been taking the majority of these. Out swinging delivery. Up in the air. Guzman. He's done really well to hold on to that. On the goal line, and a high five as well. It's really nice to see a couple of those kind of moments. Federico Pereira. It was there to be won. And bumped into the goalkeeper as he not just held on to it, but made sure he didn't fall over the goal line in the process. I think it was a foul. But those two competitors love the physical side of the battle. Pereira. Mendes. Simon. Helinho. Big switch of play out to the left-hand side. Taken down by Lopez. Spooned into the penalty area. Intended for Angulo. Lainez has done well there to just get in front of Castro, draw the foul. Guzman looking for Aguirre. Beaten to it by Mendes. Throw in for Tigres, level with the edge of the box, left hand side, quickly taken. Correa, edge of the penalty area, low save by Garcia, stooping there. It wasn't accurate from Ruiz. Herrera rather. Spilled it again though there, Garcia. Shot was from Garza, and it was Correa trying to stoop and guide it to a teammate, because they had plenty of options in the penalty area there, Tigres. That one's swept across field by Herrera. Simon, Helinho. Little flick, won't return it to the fullback. And that is a foul. Herrera. Half-time fast approaching. 43 on the clock. We'll have another minute of added time as well. Sort of be left to Joaquim. Down the left-hand side. Garcia came a long way and he's done well. Playing that in front of Garza. Pereira. Mendes. Simon. Romero. Ball over the top. And here's Angulo racing onto it. Maybe a chance. Here's Angulo. Well, both of the centre-backs converged to stop him in his tracks. Sat one of them down. In the end, it was Romulo who got rid of the danger. Joaquin with a toe to it initially. Simon wandering forward to take the set piece. Short. Now to Helinho. Back to Simon. Helinho gets the ball out of his feet, tries to drive it from a long way out. And that's charged down. 45 minutes played. 1 minute of added time now. Castro out to Simone on the opposite flank. Helinho just buys him some space, dragging players out of position. Castro, Lopez, now with Ruiz. Edge of the centre circle is Pereira. Mendes, Helinho, lovely flick down the touchline. He's going to chase after his own little touch. He's not going to catch up with it. It trundles over the touchline, and that could well be that for the first half. All eyes on the referee, and there it is. It's the half-time whistle. These two sides can't be separated. Toluca probably the stronger side of the first 45 minutes. Tigres grew into it and started to create chances late on, drawing Garcia into a couple of saves, but so far the Toluca fans and manager will be the happier of the groups here. Tigres understand that they're probably the underdogs on paper. They need to play that way. They did for a certain period of that first 45 minutes, with the air of a side hoping for things to happen rather than to try and make them. Toluca fired up for it. Tigres, well, they are now at the break in Toluca. It is Toluca 0, Tigres 0 in the CONCACAF Champions Cup final. Join us in 15 minutes time for the second half live. Well, the players making their way back out onto the grass, and we are just moments away from the second half here in a deafening Nemesio Diaz. 45 minutes in the books, it's still 0-0, but this has been a brilliantly intense physical battle between two teams, completely refusing to give an inch. Toluca have undoubtedly been the main protagonists of this first half. They've held most of the ball and have consistently looked like the side trying to make things happen, feeding off quite an incredible atmosphere generated by this home crowd. Really should have been ahead early when Helinho unleashed a stinging effort from range. Nahuel Guzman with a save. Toluca have kept the pressure on, asking real questions of the Tigres back line with a heavy volume of overlapping runs. Tigres, though, will be delighted with their recovery at the end of the second half. Started to create a couple of chances of their own and caused that Toluca backline their first problems of the game. Balance of play now rests on a bit of a knife edge. Toluca have the creative spark, but Tigres completely comfortable without the ball and waiting for that one moment that might just give them the lead. Now we are about to kick off. The ball on the centre circle. It's going to be Toluca to get us underway. Paulinho standing over the ball. Referee just counting up the players, making sure nobody's been snuck on at the start of this second half, and they are back underway at the opening of this second half of the CONCACAF Champions Cup final. Toluca chasing their first Champions Cup since 2003, their third overall. Let's have a play for Tigres. There's Gaza. Launches it down the line towards Correa. It was his direct players running that opened up those half spaces for Tigres at the end of that first half. Gaza preparing the long throw into the penalty area. Aguirre will be a target. He's up for it, but he doesn't win the initial header, but it's back to Gaza. Rattles that in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's against Aguirre. Changes, of course, will play an important part in this game. The question is, when will we see them? At least a ball from the goalkeeper Garcia, but Castro couldn't hold on to it. No changes to the starting 11s at the start of this second half. No substitutes. For Tigres, it's Guzman in goal. Back four of Gaza, Joaquim, Romulo, the two Brazilians, and Orlonia. Shot from a long way out. It's a decent effort from Herrera. And pushed away by Luis Garcia. Grialan and Araujo, the two holding midfielders, but Herrera, one of the attacking trio behind Aguirre, the centre forward, just giving a bit of space on the edge of the penalty area. Accepted the invitation to take it on. The other two alongside him, Correa and Lainez. There's another opportunity to launch this into the penalty area by Gaza. He's got that one wrong. It slipped out of his hands. Rather looped into the penalty area, and that one's been cleared up towards the halfway line. Bounces away, though, from Paulinho. And the start of the second half, very similar to the start of the first. Tigres kicked us off at the opening whistle of this game and then held on to the ball for a decent amount of time before Toluca started to take charge of the game. Guzman to Romulo. Araujo. Aguirre sprays one wide to the left-hand side. Here's Gaza. Grialan. It's all the way back to the goalkeeper, Nahuel Guzman. Well, for Toluca, it's Luis Garcia in goal. Back forward of Simon Mendes, Pereira and Lopez. Romero, the holding midfielder. Angulo and Ruiz Slightly further in front, Telino and Castro wide, with Paulinho through the middle, the tournament's top scorer. He's got Iran. It's a decent ball. Correa just lost his footing as he tried to pivot on it. Four around him, gets it back to Correa on this left-hand side. Herrera. Araujo. Joaquim. Romulo. That's a Guzman. Led off by Araujo. Here's Lainez. Decent ball, Correa. Correa for Herrera. It's a heavy first touch. That allowed Simon to win it back and earn the throw in with the ricochet back off of Herrera. Aguirre holds it up well on the edge of the penalty area. Herrera. Correa. Araujo. Toluca are already preparing a change. Here comes Bologna. Correa. Aguirre. Little pirouette. And another, but this time turning into the tackle. Laid off by Romero. It's forward by Lopez. Bounces away from Paulinho. Now here's Correa. Now it's a bit of space. Left of centre. Drives 20 yards further forward. Now to the edge of the penalty area. Laid it off to Herrera. Left edge of the box. Spins it round the corner. Garza can't catch up with that. And a goal kick for Toluca. And this might be the opportunity they take to make that first change. So it is. And it's Marcel Ruiz who will make his way off, playing with a torn ACL, the midfielder. And it's going to be the 24-year-old American Fernando Arce who comes on to replace him. He's on loan from Puebla. He played 55 minutes in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. More of a defensive midfielder than Ruiz is. Suspect that Antonio Mohamed is trying to free up a couple of his other midfielders there by bringing on someone with a bit more defensive nous. Again, it's Guzman who gives it away. That's been a feature of tonight's game. Straight to Helino. Silky footwork here. Dances his way through a couple of bodies before giving it away on the edge of the box. Hacked away from the edge of the area. Nodded forward again. Towards Angulo. Can't get on the end of it. Turn on the far side for Tigres. It's in by Laronia. There's Joaquim. Now Garza, left-hand side of the defence. Forward to the retreating Herrera. That's a ball that Garza will chase after. Mendes gets there first. Second ball intercepted by Angel Correa. Tried to slip it past Mendes. It was a decent little move. from Herrera, and they couldn't find him. Angulo. He's the new man, Arce. Romero, it is, has stepped a bit further forward. It's Castro. Romero. Herrera. Franco Romero. To Herrera. Now with Luis Garcia. We're looking for Helinho again, but once again it's a ball that will bounce away from him and all the way back to Nahuel Guzman. Forward by Joaquim. Here's Garza. Picked up by Romero. Now Helinho, lovely little return pass into the centre circle. Here's Castro. Lopez towards the penalty spot and swung clear by Romulo, with Angel Jesus Angulo, I should say, waiting for it. Simon can't thread that one through. Romulo, Garza's fouled. The frustration from Toluca. It's a knee into the side of the thigh by Helinho. Well, those Tigres fans making themselves known, their presence known. They're certainly in the minority by quite a factor. The few thousand tickets they were allocated. Well, this is ball has bounced loose. Correa just wide. They almost shot themselves in the foot there, Toluca. Initially pinged away by Pereira, but it bounced back off Mendes right into the path of Angel Correa, who went sliding in with Lopez, got back to his feet and gets the shot away. It's only 2 or 3 feet wide of Garcia's near post. Two Tigres players bundled to the ground just outside the centre circle. It's the challenge on Correa that'll earn them the free kick. Romero, a bit too physical for the referee's liking. With Guzman. Always does invite the pressure. Ball down the right-hand side. Lopez gave chase. Here's Aguirre who takes over. Now Lainez slides it into the penalty area, and Herrera didn't make the run. I think he was in an offside position. It's a total shift of fortunes in this second half. Tigres now dominating the game. Toluca struggling to find the same intensity they played with in the first half. Well, they were the more threatening of the two sides. The statistics maybe tell a slightly different story. Felt like they had much more with the ball, but pretty even split after that first 45 minutes, 52 to 48% in Toluca's favour. Certainly more chances, more shots. But neither goalkeeper has really been stretched. You could probably argue actually that Luis Garcia has had to make the more difficult saves than his opposite number, Nahuel Guzman. He's going to blow the whistle, and I think he wants a word here with both Angel Correa and Pereira, who's now wearing the captain's armband. Ismail El-Fath spotting a little conflict bubbling under the surface between those two. We need to nip it in the bud before it became a problem as we reach the hour mark in Toluca. A goalless hour in this tense, tight chess battle of a CONCACAF Champions Cup final. Romulo finds Aguirre, much more involved in this second half. Lainez. Loroña looks at the big switch of play. Simon. Helinho wanted the foul. It's not going to go his way. And Tigres allowed to play on. Correa, will he keep it in play? He will. With the assistance of the corner flag. Now here's Herrera, left-hand side of the penalty area. Herrera. He appealed for the deflection. Felt that should have been a corner kick. Referee points to the 6-yard box. Certainly looked like it was a deflection initially, but maybe on reflection, there's no deflection. That's a really good challenge by Herrera. And then Helinho matches it with a decent piece of skill himself. Going to throw for Toluca. Romero. Led off towards Angulo. Castro stepped over the ball. Paulinho skies it. First time he's really had a chance. That potent left foot of his. Can only poke it over the crossbar. Problem here for Herrera, who's taken a seat. I'd like to see Marcelo Flores. It's the first change of the night, and off goes Herrera. It's the Canadian Marcelo Flores who comes on. It's a product of the Arsenal Academy. To avenge his former club's defeat earlier on today in the Champions League final. He's a Canadian international, former Mexican international, made the switch. Born to a Mexican family in Canada. Helinho. Mendes. Helinho. Romero. Switched out to the left. Here's Lopez. Castro looking for space. Finds Helinho. Castro low! Just wide. It was Nico Castro who just upped the pace for a moment. Little give and go with Helinho. Looking to beat Guzman, low down to his left. And it wasn't too far away. Here's Flores. That's real involvement since coming on. Mix up with Correa. Now Flores in the half space between the lines, left of centre. Correa. Loroña. Lainez. Stepping it off the right-hand side. Finds Correa. Space on the edge of the box. Maybe Lainez will pull the trigger. Aguirre. Can't keep it. Oh, link up with his teammates. It's been picked off. Tigres here with Joaquim. Now Flores. Injecting a bit of energy into this move. 3 in the way. Forced out of the box. Shot from a long way. Araujo. And that's straight over the crossbar. Not really known for his shooting ability. I do wonder at what point we might see André-Pierre Gignac, the Frenchman, the club's all-time record goal scorer. His Tigres career to an end after this game. He's their most used sub. 5 times he's come on in. They're CONCACAF Champions Cup so far. He's in fact the only player to have scored in a CONCACAF final since 2011. He scored 2016, 2019 and 2020. Here's Lainez. Correa. Quite, but deflection on the way out of play. Tigres with the throw-in. Simon. Into Correa. Aguirre tries to turn. Does turn! And that's always swinging away from goal, and he's about to be replaced. And you can see, he just saw his number. A grimace of frustration in response. And Juan Pruneta. It's going to be the man who comes on. Former Argentina youth international. Just going to see Marco Farfan too. Not really played very much. And Loroña is the man withdrawn for his involvement. And well, as soon as Rodrigo Aguirre crossed the touchline, he lashed out his frustration on a water bottle down there. You can see he's just had a really difficult evening, unable to really make his mark on the game. Helinho. Pereira. Left-hand side is Lopez. Castro. Helinho. Tried to just poke it through first time. Here's Simon. Towards Helinho. Takes it down in the penalty area. Tried the back heel. Will bounce back to him. Pull back. Castro onto his left. Switch it back onto his right. Really good challenge from Gurriaran. Just as he was about to pull the trigger. Here's Simon again. Right-hand side. Much better from Toluca. Helinho. Left-footed ball across towards the back post. The volley cutback is nodded away by Romulo. Now the foul is going to release the pressure. It's Romero who's been penalised there. Brilliant tackle though by Gurriaran just a few moments ago. Nico Castro looks set to pull the trigger, and he'd earned himself a decent position in the penalty area. Well, now they're going to make another change to Toluca. Jesus Angulo replaced by Pavel Perez. Lainez. Victor Guzman. He's only made 2 saves all game, Nahuel Guzman. In many ways, he was highlighted pretty much as a potential weak spot for Tigres this evening. His save percentage in the tournament so far, just 57.9%, which is one of the lowest amongst the tournament stoppers. Also the only goalkeeper in the entire tournament to record a direct error leading to an opposition goal. Haven't really tested him though, Toluca. Less than 20 minutes to play. Still Toluca 0. Tigres 0. Gurriaran on the left-hand side. Back to Joaquim. Guzman. Romulo. Farfan. And everyone's bouncing now here at the stadium they call Red Hill. The Red Devils supporters trying to just add an extra couple of percentage points to their team's determination. Here's Castro, edge of the penalty area. Another speculative effort from a long way away. We're going to test Guzman from that range. Sliding in went Arce, and that's a foul. Just caught him in the follow through there. Arce, that's pretty high in the end on Lainez. Raked up the shin of Lainez. We'll be having a look at that in the VAR room. Alan Chapman hasn't really had too much to look at so far this evening. As we get closer to the end of the game, tired legs, tired minds, frayed emotions and nerves. Here's Castro down the right. Low cross, never really caught it like he wanted to. Flores. Araujo it was mopping things up for Tigres. Just be a warning for Marseille. Romulo to Joaquim. To Guzman. Joaquim. Not a bad ball. It's Marcelo Flores, edge of the penalty area. Top of the shoulder, left to right and back again. Slide challenge came in. He claims a penalty. Correa keeps the ball moving, pulled back towards the penalty spot and wrapped away by Pereira. Marcelo Flores is down. I'm not sure there's any contact. I think he might have just twisted his knee there. There was no appeal to the referee from the Canadian. It looks like there's some real concern for the substitute as well. Those often are the ugliest of injuries, where the leg is planted, the knee just buckles. Brought on to inject a little bit of flair, bit of pace, bit of invention. Just have a look at the replay, see what happened. Yeah, it's really awkward. Tries to turn away from Simon, plants his right knee, and studs just seem to get caught in the ground. He's back on his feet. You can often understand why there's almost a moment of panic. I'm sure he'll be able to continue though. He really is hobbling towards the sidelines. That's less than ideal for Tigres. Marcelo Flores has substituted himself, and now he really is hobbling. Seems to be able to put any weight on that right knee. He sat into his involvement. Tigres temporarily 10. Oh, a problem in the middle of the park for Ariaran. Yeah, there might be a cynical moment. Here's Ariaran, tries to buy his side a bit more time to decide who they're going to bring on as a replacement for Marcelo Flores. Well, it's the time for the big man. There is that blue number 10 on the back of that famous yellow shirt. It's André-Pierre Gignac. He'll be coming on very shortly. Diego Sanchez as well is going to come on too. So they'll go through their final two changes. They have time to make these changes now though. Referee getting a little bit impatient. Well, here comes Gignac for one final time. He replaces Araujo. And on comes Diego Sanchez, live wide left winger. That's a replacement for Marcelo Flores. Corner, there's the header, what a save, and what a second save! Gignac denied on the line. It was Romulo initially, a fantastic header, but the save was even better point blank, just reacts, and then Gignac was jolly on the spot with surely what looked like a tap-in, his first touch. It's off Luis Garcia's boot, back onto Gignac's knee, that goes wide. Brilliant from the goalkeeper, who's hurt himself in the process. As long as he can continue, he won't care a jot about this. It's a superb bit of goalkeeping for a man who's been called into action a few times tonight, more than he probably would have expected. It's a totally free header from Romulo, lost his man. The first save is fantastic from Luis Garcia, but it's straight at the feet of Gignac, whose eyes lit up as the ball was bouncing in front of him. He would have been convinced that the net was going to bulge. 10 minutes of normal time remaining. An important time to remind you that if they are all square, after 90 minutes, we move to half an hour of extra time. Long from Luis Garcia. Mendez's header. Taken down by Romulo. 2 balls on the pitch for the moment. Guzman, Joaquim, Farfan, forward down the left-hand side, helped on its way by Sanchez. Gignac with a chest. Quickly back on by Sanchez. Is there a free kick? It is. Leo Adam's going to take it. Sanchez wins the throw-in, which is taken quickly by Farfan. Now Sanchez, king of the 1v1, deflection, and for a moment looks like Luis Garcia was going to be embarrassed a little there. Somehow that doesn't find the back of the net. Took a huge flick off Mendes on the way through. What a save that is from Garcia. That was heading into the back of the net. He's adjusted in mid-air to flick it round the post. Tigres have the corner, flashed in towards the near post and gobbled up by Garcia. Not the best of deliveries. Tried to find Helinho. Well, that's another problem. Just went hobbling away from that, did Farfan. Gignac loses out. Will be a throw-in to Toluca. Simon with the ball in his hands. Helinho bumped off it by Farfan. Toluca want the free kick. They're not going to get it. Brunetta. Into the box, Lainez looking for Correa. It was always running away from him. And Mendes did well. Here's Paulinho. Just took a little bit too much time, Paulinho, to slip it through to Castro. He was in an offside position anyway, but the pass just was quite overhit by Paulinho. Guzman. Romulo Lainez holds it up. Here's Pereira for Toluca. Driving through the middle. Laid off by Paulinho. Now Helinho. Took his eye off it temporarily. Castro. Helinho from a long way out. And that one's way over the crossbar. Guzman winding himself up for the goal kick. And it's on to the head. Over Pereira. All the way back to Guzman though. Poor players out there desperately trying to loosen up ever-tightening muscles. Toluca with 2 changes prepared. Diego Barbosa and Jorge Diaz will be making their way on shortly. I'll wait for them. They're ready, but I'm not sure they know who they're going to be taking off yet. Here's Mendes. A little tug on Marseille at the base of the midfield by Gignac. Marseille. Mendes. Who's looking for Simon. Here's Brunetta for Tigres though. Lainez sandwiched between 2 Toluca players, and it's the first yellow card of the evening in the 87th minute. Counting them up. Says to Everardo Lopez that that's one too many now. Another warning in the first half. The Toluca left back. Joaquin. Romulo. Guzman. Correaran. Brunetta. Garza. Lainez. Brunetta. To the corner of the box. Correa holds it up. Oh, he's been dispossessed. A little tug back at the defender. Romero in there. He's seen Toluca given the free kick. We're to that point of the game where the next goal wins, surely. Now they can make these changes, Toluca. And off goes Nico Castro. Diego Barbosa coming on. No more Helinho either. Jorge Diaz, and to replace Helinho on the left-hand side. Here is Diaz, freshly onto the pitch. Joaquin dispossessed him. Another A good challenge from Romulo as well. Ron Correa out for a Tigres throw-in off the head of Pereira. Comes in on that right-hand side. He's looking for Correa again. Swiped out of play by Pereira. Back heel from Correa, won't find Gignac, instead it's Toluca back in possession. It's Diaz. Barbosa rather, finds Diaz. It's put out of play for a Toluca throw-in on this near side. As we move into a period of 5 additional minutes. Barbosa. Passed off of him initially and then on the plate. It's going to be a throw in. I think it's actually a free kick here for Tigres. Gurriaran. To Nahol Guzman. Shifts to the right hand side. Here is Farfan. Romero. Pereira. Lopez getting forward. Tracked by Lainez. Just bounced up and hit on the hand, and good eyes from the referee. Ball away by Pereira, drops over Prunetta. Gurriaran, right hand side, Lainez, it's done well, links up with Garza, there's the ball towards Gignac, and Mendes was in the way. Paulinho unable to keep it. Brunetta finds Lainez, who commits the foul. He'll receive a yellow card. Just bounced off his heels, and well, you can see why he's had to pull back at Pavel Perez. He's never going to let him escape on the counter. Lopez just feeling on his hamstring here. Going to have to go off for a moment here, Everardo Lopez, because the medical team were ushered on. He got back to his feet quickly enough. Toluca playing with 10 for a few seconds now. left-hand side, it's going to bounce away again. And Perez, it's up for a goal kick. Into the final minutes of added time. Still in the balance. Brave from Brunetta, driving through midfield. Lainez, wriggling away from two defenders, still Lainez. Farfan. Correa tried to turn. A challenge away by Mendes. Farfan is going to take this, seconds remaining. Looks for Correa. Holds it up, poked behind. It will be a corner. In the final embers of normal time. So close from their last corner kick, Tigres. Correa could take this. Could be Brunetta. In fact, it will be. Brunetta across the face of goal. Little flick on at the near post. Alfath, the referee, saw Mendes down, blows the whistle because he sees the head injury. It's Paulinho, actually. And that might be that. Foul is given. To Luca's way. Oh, Luis Garcia clears the goal kick into Tigres territory, but the referee blows the whistle. 90 minutes, not enough to separate these two sides. Goalless after added time. We will go to extra time and maybe even penalties. Don't go anywhere. Full time at the end of this Champions Cup. As we head to extra time, it's Deportivo Toluca 0, Tigres 0. a tight, tense CONCACAF Champions Cup final. Moves now into 30 minutes of extra time. Toluca and Tigres, neither side could score. Toluca have won the coin toss before the start of extra time. There's been drama, there's been injuries. There haven't been too many clear-cut chances, but there's been some wonderful saves. The best chances fell to Romulo from a header from a corner, beautifully saved by Garcia, and then the follow-up from 3 yards out from the substitute André-Pierre Gignac, who was denied by a fantastic second save by Luis Garcia after only just strolling on. Probably been their best player tonight, Luis Garcia, for Toluca. First half was Toluca's, second was Tigres's, and we shall see what happens in this extra time. 2 periods of 50 minutes, separated by a very short turnaround, as we've just seen here. Referee checking his watch, and we'll get them back underway. It's André-Pierre Gignac, the big Frenchman, the 40-year-old, playing his final match for Tigres tonight to get us restarted. Hold on to your hats, it could get messy. Tigres playing with such confidence now, and they're already sweeping forward down the left-hand side. Deflected delivery, and it's into the arms of the goalkeeper, Luis Garcia. It was intended for the big man Gignac. There's a change. That's half the end of the 90 minutes. Alvaro Lopez replaced by Isais. Here's Pavel Perez, edge of the penalty area for Toluca. Not on the same wavelength with Paulinho. Diego Sanchez asked to give chase. Mendes always the favourite to get on that first. Toluca back in possession. You can see there's 2 different paces of play. It's actually quite impressive how Tigres have managed to keep up those energy levels, that speed at which they're going about things tonight. Especially crossing from the right-hand side, too high for Paulinho. It was Barbosa that got away down that right-hand side, and it's not a bad delivery, you know. Not sure Paulinho was expecting it, didn't see it until it was already past a couple of defenders. Got to be Garza to take the throw in. Both sides have made 5 changes. One of them, Marcelo Flores, had to go off for Tigres after an awkward twist of the knee in the penalty area, in a decent position. May well see another substitute from either of these 2 sides. A reminder that if they still can't be separated after extra time, we will go to penalties. These 2 playing a Liga MX final not long ago in December. That finished 2-2 after extra time, and there were 12 rounds of penalties that evening to decide Toluca as the league champions. His Carrera in the centre circle. Tried to poke it out to the right-hand side. Isais gets to it first. Lainez wanted to throw in quickly. Isais, shoulder to shoulder with Lainez. Lovely little pirouette. Lainez, Correa! Another great save from Luis Garcia. Correa burst into the box, the inside right channel. It's fantastic work initially by Lainez, pirouetting his way past red shirts. Correa used the outside of his right boot, trying to just guide it into the far bottom corner. Luis Garcia at full stretch, fingertips, pushes it past the post and keeps Toluca in the game. He's been superb for Toluca tonight. Brunetta's going to take the corner. The in-swinger bounces in the box. Joaquim couldn't get his shot away. Here's Lainez, edge of the box, right-hand side. That one was blocked on the edge of the penalty area by Barbosa. Lainez again. Isais gets it away and goes down in the process. Referee's going to put it back for the foul on Isais, is he? No, it's going to be a Tigres throw. Gaza takes. It's Romulo. Goriaran. Diego Sanchez. Brunetta. Joaquim. That'll be a free kick. MacArthur, Isais. They're coming together after the initial incident. Correa and Pereira. Just pulled back at him. Isais as he saw Lainez try to spin away. So it took him 5.5 minutes to have his name taken. Marcelo Isais. Herrera has stayed down after that coming together with Angel Correa. They were trying to suggest that Correa was kicking out at Pereira. So I think it's more an accident than anything there. I don't understand why Pereira stayed down. I think I saw one. Underside of the boot to the midriff. Guzman. Corner of the box is Romulo. Lainez. It's really good from Brunetta as well. Sanchez trying a bit too much. Now here comes Toluca. But really finding it difficult to create space. Toluca, they've been forced back to the halfway line. Saiz. Gaza wants Perez off the ball. Herrera back to Perez. Romero. Finds Isais. Now onside. Into the box, but now the flag goes up. Tigres with the free kick and decent grip of the game. Gignac couldn't keep it. Now Paulinho. Diaz. And the pullback is blocked. First corner in a long time for Toluca. Guards are in the way. Just their fourth corner of the evening. Here's Pavel Perez. With the delivery. The in-swinger towards the near post. Guzman came through a crowd. Punches it away. Here comes Lainez. Meta puts it out of play. Lainez is off the pitch, and Andre-Pierre Gignac is in some discomfort in the 6-yard box, feeling his right knee. Also felt like maybe he would have been. He was caught on the cheek. He's asking about an elbow to the cheek here. See a shoulder with Pereira, who cleared the ball through the header. He seems convinced. We've seen a replay though, Andre. Played 10 minutes of extra time. League-Toluca have brought Paulinho's night to an end. Difficult evening for the Portuguese. Sebastian Cordova, the former Tigres man, Tigres player for 3 years. He lost the Liga MX final to Toluca as the Tigres player back in December of last year. Now on the opposite side, hoping to help his side win the CONCACAF Champions Cup final. Tigres, well, there will be a corner. Brunetta once again to take this. The in-swinger towards the backside of the penalty area. Correa, Lainez. Another corner for Tigres. Santi Simone, who flung himself in the way. Will be Correa to take it. The outswinger deep towards the back post. A free header, but there was stretching there. Tigres, now Toluca maybe to create something on the counter-attack. Brilliant challenge on that far side, crucial challenge. Quickly into Cordova, nice turn. Tries to find his way past Romulo. Cordova! Guzman spilt it. It was trickling towards the goal line, but he grabs it just in the nick of time. Cordova thinks his shirt was pulled. Really just bundled his way through. Almost a horror moment for the goalkeeper. Recovered in the nick of time. And Sebastian Cordova has already shown his worth. It's given away by Tigres. Cordova. There's the goal! Sebastian Cordova! Fed it through. Toluca finally break the deadlock in extra time. Jorge Diaz, the substitute, with an exceptional finish to drive it into the bottom corner. Just finds a pocket of space between defenders on the edge of the penalty area. The little dummy to wrong foot Romulo. Drills it past him into the bottom corner. And with half-time and extra time just moments away, it is Toluca that finally have the advantage after 105 minutes of football. Well, well, well. What a night it's been. It came mere seconds after Sebastian Cordova's chance. Tigres trail, and on the balance of play, you find yourself scratching your head to figure out how. Antonio Mohamed must come to the fore in these moments now. Needs to figure out how to guide his side for the next minute and then the next 15 to avoid that potential lottery of penalties. The smoke bombs have been let off, the flares off around this stadium. Now they want more. Diaz couldn't quite burst his way through this time. It was Guzman that came to meet it on the edge of the penalty area. The referee, has he blown the whistle for the half-time period? In extra time he has. Well, how different a game this could have been. Finally a goal in this Champions Cup final. A superb opportunity for Angel Correa, saved by Luis Garcia, who's been brilliant all evening. The introduction of Sebastian Cordova changed the game a little for Toluca, started to get a bit of a spring in their step after he was denied by Nahuel Guzman. All of 15-20 seconds later, it was Diaz who finally broke the deadlock. We'll be back very, very shortly for the second half of Extra Time Live, but at the moment it's Toluca 1, The stadium is absolutely bouncing now. The atmosphere has been second to none all evening, but it's just kicked into another gear. Jorge Diaz has sparked this place they call Red Hell into a burning inferno. If Tigres are to clamber out of the depths of despair, they need to do it in the next 15 minutes. Otherwise it'll be Toluca, who are the CONCACAF Champions Cup champions 2026. We're into the final 15 minutes of extra time. Romero, Jorge Diaz. Cute little flick down the left-hand side. It's Garza in the way. Barbosa with the throw-in. Ball drops into midfield. Tigres will throw everything they've got at it now. They have been throwing everything they've got at it for the past hour or so. Gignac keeps the ball moving. Brunetta, Gorriarán. Here comes Lainez. A red wall forms in front of him. They have to be careful here, Tigres. This is really good work down the left-hand side. Cordova wants it at the back post. Cordova might get it, takes it down into the penalty area. Can he hold the ball up? No, he can't. He's got it back at his feet. Here's Pavel Perez. Toluca maintained possession, swung out towards this right-hand side for Barbosa. Romero through the middle. That's a robust challenge from Romero. Got a lot of the ball, but sizable chunk as well of Brunetta. Challenge of real commitment was the trailing leg that caused Brunetta the problem. He's back on his feet, no time to waste anymore. Brunetta slings a pass cross-field. Garza. Lainez. Garza. Right-hand side. Sweeping in field. Early ball into the penalty area. Chested down by Joachim, who's joined Gignac up front. Correa. Sanchez. Across the face of the penalty area. Finds Gorriarán. Garza, Lainez. That's behind Garza. He'll keep it in play though, prevent the goal kick. Saiz. Little couple of ricochets. Sebastian Cordova, in his eagerness to try and get on the end of that clearance, has found his man. Very quick restart by Tigres. It's Lainez again, poked in towards the near post. Joachim was there, but so was Pereira. One final change for Tigres. Of course, Jesus Garza. On comes Juan Purata. Comes the long throw towards the near post. Joachim was there. Toluca won a foul, none is given by the referee. Lainez had his heels clipped and They will have a free kick. Tigres on the far side. Saiz just stepping on Lainez's heel there. Lainez is convinced that Saiz should be dismissed here. He's trying to make that point to the referee, who isn't really interested. Lainez spots it up. Flashed in there, a decent, tempting, fizzing ball, taken down by Sanchez after the clearing header. Brunetta slung back into the box, powerfully away by Pereira. Guzman scoops it back into the box. There's Luis Garcia. Brunetta was underneath it, handed an apology. Luis Garcia stays down. Been in the wars, the Toluca goalkeeper. Sense this one maybe not as bad as first thought, and some tempers are fraying over on the far side. The referee having to do a little bit of housekeeping here. Pereira on the header, but the elbow was outstretched and did catch Joaquim on the side of the head. There was no intent, I'm sure, from Pereira. A night of emotions. A night of moments. Toluca have had their moment. Tigres have had a few that could have been, but never were. Now they have 8 minutes to finally beat Luis Garcia. Joaquim is wrestled to ground. By Mendes. Free kick for Tigres. Taken short. Brunetta, Lainez down the left-hand side, left-footed ball into the penalty area. Away by Mendes again. That's clumsy from Barbosa. It was actually Cordova, apologies. Really are sitting deep in the penalty area here, Toluca. Giving Luis Garcia much space to operate in behind their defensive line. Last one was a short one. This time Brunetta will scoop it in there. There's Joaquim! And he beats Luis Garcia! The equaliser for Tigres! From the emergency centre forward, the big Brazilian defender rose highest at the back post and plants his header past Luis Garcia, who's been virtually unbeatable all evening. Saiz is left in a heap. Pereira alongside him. He got fingertips to it, Luis Garcia, but this time he couldn't deny Tigres. Set pieces have been a huge feature of their run to the final for Tigres. And it's been their salvation. Now with 5 minutes left, you never know what's going to happen. It's one apiece in extra time. As it stands, we are heading towards penalties in the CONCACAF Champions Cup final. Long from Nahuel Guzman. Correa tried to flick it on towards Sanchez. Toluca all at sea at the moment. Gignac pinged cross field to Gurriaran. Lainez, left-footed, away by Mendes. Drops to Farfan. Well, Joachim's not staying forward now. Lainez into the 6-yard box. Nobody made the run, and it's held on to by Luis Garcia. He'll launch it long down the left-hand side. Here's Pavel Perez. No foul there, according to Ismail Elfaz. There's Purata, the extra time substituting away. There he is again. There's Lainez. Lainez, edge of the box. Correa! Luis Garcia gets down low to his left, pushes it away. Angel Correa. He's hurt himself as well, but that's so close to the winner. Wasn't picked up. Was it a deflection? There was. Off Barbosa. Tired legs, tired minds. Having looked at the equaliser, it's really poor defending from Toluca. Joachim never marked, never picked up. A free header at the back post for one of the most threatening players aerially in the Tigres team. Brunetta. Lainez. Brunetta. Farfan. Sanchez. It's his back heel away to Farfan. Tries to flick it round the corner. Here's Barbosa. Has to deal with it. Well, that's given away, but the handball is from Farfan. The clock ticks over to 119 minutes played. We have just 1 minute of time remaining, plus whatever the officials decide to add on, which will be 1 minute, according to reports from down near the technical areas. There's Joachim with the header, goes hobbling away. In by Barbosa. Diaz, the Toluca goal scorer, wins the throw in near the corner flag. deep inside Tigres territory. Barbosa will try and send this one long. Barbosa quickly in. Back to Barbosa. Romero to Barbosa from the byline. Scooped into the box. Too high for Cordova. Kept in play. Pavel Perez, left-hand side. Across the face of the penalty area, looking for a crossing opportunity. Still looking for space. Perez to the byline. In towards the near post. Poked away by Tigres. Correa. That's against Romero. That'll be a throw-in. And you suspect both sides will have to settle for penalties. Referee wants Tigres to get on with it. He'll blow the whistle, and I think he's going to send them back down the touchline. It's been turned over to Toluca. Can they make one more chance here? Here's Cordova. It's not a Toluca throw-in. There's no time though. Ismail Elfath blows for full time. 0-0 after 90. 1-1 after 120. And the CONCACAF Champions Cup will be decided on penalties just 6 months after these two sides shared an epic penalty shootout that saw Toluca crowned Liga MX champions. They're going to do it all again, and we'll bring every penalty to you live. Don't go anywhere. Penalties coming up very shortly. After extra time though, it's finished. Toluca 1, Tigres 1. A relentless, grueling evening has come to a close, and after a bruising 1-1 deadlock across 120 minutes of pure footballing warfare, the tactics boards are officially in the bin. It has all come down to this: the absolute cruelest, most magnificent test of pure psychological nerve in sport. We're heading to a penalty shootout after an absolute war of structural attrition that finally exploded into beautiful chaos during extra time. For 90 minutes it was a cagey, paranoid chess match where neither manager wanted to risk losing. But once that fatigue set in, the floodgates opened. Toluca thought they had seized continental immortality when Jorge Diaz broke the deadlock in the 103rd minute, driving this stadium into an absolute beer-swirling frenzy. But Tigres, they simply refused to die. They threw bodies forward, played on pure instinct, and centre-back Joaquim, playing as an auxiliary centre-forward, smashed home a stunning equaliser in the 113th minute to drag us to this spot where we are. And we are waiting now on Nahuel Guzman, the referee, going to retrieve the Tigres goalkeeper. And we need to talk about the ghosts hanging heavy in the air tonight. You cannot look at these players locking arms at the centre circle without thinking back to December's epic Liga MX final right here at the Nemesio Diaz. That night it took a staggering, heart-stopping 12 rounds of penalties before Toluca finally edged Tigres 9-8 from the spot. The mental scars from that 24-kick marathon still fresh on both sides, and you can practically taste that psychological baggage here this evening. A word for both goalkeepers to remind them of their responsibilities. It's a pure battle of wills between the goalkeepers. Luis Garcia, who's been exceptional tonight, has the weight of 30,000 on his shoulders, while Nahuel Guzman, who has a penchant for the theatrical, is absolutely licking his lips, ready to bring the dark arts to the goal line. The keepers are waiting. The first penalty taker is Pavel Perez for Toluca, being taken away to our right, where the Tigres supporters are situated in that far corner. Pavel Perez versus Nahuel Guzman, and it's into the bottom corner to Guzman's left. He went down the right way. Toluca make no mistake from their first spot kick. Mutual respect between the two goalkeepers. The handshake is now Luis Garcia marches to the goal line to take his place. And he's going to face Andre Pierre Gignac, his Tigres' all-time leading goal scorer. His final kick of a ball in this famous Tigres shirt will be here from this penalty spot. Gignac powers it past the goalkeeper. Garcia to his right, Gignac the opposite direction. It's one apiece in the shootout. Sent Garcia the wrong way. The 40-year-old Frenchman gives those Tigres supporters something to cheer about for one last time. Just what will it mean in a few minutes? Now Santi Simón for Toluca. Keeper got hands to it this time, but can't prevent it from nestling into the side netting. Nahuel Guzman's done his homework, but so far unable to deny Toluca. He probably should save it, you know. A big left hand to it. Santi Simón's heart was in his mouth for a moment. Next up for Tigres, Juan Brunetta. Speculation about his future. Could this be his last kick? Brunetta! Same direction as Gignac, same result. It's 2 each after 4. The substitute, so important. to Tigres' comeback. The set piece that was powered home by Joaquim, and he's repeated the trick from the penalty spot. Federico Pereira now for Toluca. That's through the body of Nahuel Guzman, who pounds the ground in frustration. Looked like he saved it. It squirts underneath his midriff. A smile from Pereira. Knows he's got away with one there. Now a moment for the Tigres captain, Fernando Gorriarán. Scored the winner against FC Cincinnati deep in added time to complete that remarkable comeback. Can he keep Tigres in the shootout? It's saved by Luis Garcia. Low down to his left. Tigres blink first. And it's Toluca's man of the evening who pulls out the heroics once again. A little bounce in front of him made it that more difficult for Garcia. Still gets a big left hand to it. Nahuel Guzman now ramping up the dark arts. Jorge Diaz, the man who scored the opener in extra time, off the bench versus Nahuel Guzman. He gets the right way every single time. Diaz keeps his composure, waiting for the goalkeeper to move, puts it into the vacant left side, beyond Nahuel Guzman. It's advantage Toluca. It's 4-3. And now Angel Correa, the former Atletico Madrid man. So many heartbreaks with the side from the Spanish capital. Has to score. Correa versus Garcia. Correa slips, but it's straight down the middle. Luis Garcia is claiming a double touch here. Let's have a look. Atletico Madrid knocked out of the Champions League. Julian Alvarez from the spot with a double touch. That saw them depart from the Champions League. Would be a nightmare for Angel Correa. VAR are checking this. I think he's lost his footing, but there's just the one touch. And now here we are. Franco Romero with the chance to write his name into the history books for Toluca. It's been 23 years since the last time they won this title in 2003. Antonio Mohamed, he's won everything. Apart from this, it's the one trophy missing from his resume. And Franco Romero could have the chance to deliver it to Toluca. It's Romero, and it's saved by Nahuel Guzman. What drama! A good height for the goalkeeper. He's gone the right way almost every single time. It's Diego Lainez, Tigres' star of the evening. The maths are the same. He has to score here. Otherwise, Toluca are champions. Garcia pointing to his right. A little dance on the line from Luis Garcia. Diego Lainez has to score for Tigres and does so. It's 4 apiece after 5 penalties each. History repeating itself. The nerves in this ground. And now the substitute, Sebastian Cordova. Nahuel Guzman is loving this. A big smile on his face, checks his notes, which he's keeping in his underpants. Lost this with Tigres last year. Cordova into the top corner, brilliant penalty. Over Guzman, into the back of the net. Another hand to it from Nahuel Guzman. He's got something to 3 of these penalties. Romulo stepping forward for Tigres. It's sudden death now. The central defender. Will start his run from the edge of the penalty area. Luis Garcia looking at the ground. Nahuel Guzman is going to have to stop things for a moment because, sorry, the referee is going to stop because Nahuel Guzman is just refusing to stand in the position he's been allocated beyond the byline. This isn't going to help his teammate. Romulo's had to wait a long time. Romulo versus Luis Garcia. Little stutter. And then rolls it in. Call as you like. Roll back 6 months. This is the halfway point in the shootout. 6 penalties apiece. Waiting for the goalkeeper to move. It's Arce for Toluca. Drills it past the goalkeeper. The slightest of hesitations from Guzman, who once again goes the right way, but just couldn't quite stretch across in time. Passed him before he knew it. A firm penalty, a well-placed penalty from Fernando Arce. Juan Jose Purata walks up to the penalty spot with a little smile on his face. Has to score. Everyone has to score. Purata. It's saved by Luis Garcia. It's over. Toluca are champions. And it's a fitting way to win the final for a man that has kept them in the game for over 120 minutes. The man of the match, the man of the moment, Luis Garcia with a brilliant save low down to his right. Toluca are CONCACAF Champions Cup champions. It's another defeat in penalties for Tigres on this ground. They call it the Red Hell. And the Inferno has swallowed up Tigres. It's the cruelest of ways to lose. Ask Arsenal earlier on today. And now Tigres taste those tears once more. They are continental champions, Toluca. An explosion of noise, of emotion around this ground. There was no fairy tale ending for Andre Pierre Gignac, but it's a moment that will live long in the memory of Luis Garcia. An evening where he has been spectacular. An evening where Tigres, on the balance of play, probably should have won it before we even got to extra time. They had their chances, but they couldn't take them. The party will commence here in Toluca after a game that switched from tactical chess match to all-out attacking endeavours from one end to the other. And in one of the most dramatic ways to win a game, it's Toluca who are the heroes, and their goalkeeper, Luis Garcia, who is the man they can thank for the trophy they're about to hoist. You feel for Tigres, who threw everything, including the kitchen sink at the game. Time after time, they couldn't beat that man, Luis Garcia. Took them 113 minutes of football to finally find a route past him. And when it came down to the penalty shootout, it was anyone's game. But an exceptional showing in open play from Luis Garcia was replicated in the penalty shootout. For the first time in 23 years, Toluca are CONCACAF champions. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's been an engrossing night. A night that so many of these fans in this stadium will never, ever forget. It's finished. 1-1 after extra time. Toluca win the penalty shootout. 6-5. Good night.